Hey guys, Jacob with Jacob Comics. Alright, we have a really fun episode. We're going to be reviewing Amazing Spider Man 17. And check out this. I think I've said this before, but yeah, I really like this kind of motif that they have going through all the dark webs with this green background web. And this time, we have a very beat up Spider Man on the front cover. All right, guys. Now, before we get dived into Amazing Spider-Man 17, I do want to let you guys know about the 600 subscriber giveaway. We'll be giving this book away when we hit 600 subscribers. It's a Marvel #1 variant. All you have to do is like the video, comment down below, and be subscribed to the channel, and that'll give you a chance to win. Now, as always, we're going to be going heavy into spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled for Amazing Spider-Man 17, that's your warning. Next up, we always shout out the creative team because without the creative team, we wouldn't have a comic book, right, guys? So on this issue, we have Zeb Wells as the writer, Ed McGuinness is doing pencils, Cliff Rathburn is doing inks, Marcio Menez is doing colors, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. And the cover is by John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna, and Marcio Menez. And we start, and we're in limbo, and we're kind of jumping right from where we left off in the dark web storyline, basically. So Peter is, in for all intents and purposes, a bunch of these demons have been set up to kind of make a fake New York with a fake Daily Bugle and all this stuff in limbo. And they're kind of living there. And so they're. What's crazy is they're all super giant fans of Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and J. Jonah Jameson, and almost like they've been watching it like us, like a TV show, right? So they're kind of like holding Peter and J. Jonah Jameson, and then it's one other guy. I'm sorry, and Robbie Robertson. They're holding them all hostage, right? And they're kind of getting their kicks off J. Jonah Jameson, uh, just being who he is, and they want him to yell at Peter Parker to get pictures of Spider-Man, right? And so one of the demons says, "Now you yell at him, John Man. Tell him you want tasty pics of Spider-Man." And J. Jonah Jameson says, I want pictures of Spider-Man." And the demon says, "Tasty pics." I said yo, and I said tasty pics, John Man. You want to die? And so, he, J. Jonah Jameson turns and yells, "I want tasty pics of Peter Parker Spider Man. Do you hear me?" And yeah, and they all, everyone erupts in yay, and the one girl goes, "He said it." And obviously Peter's like, you're gonna pay for this, Ben. And so we see him walking home after that day of work, and Ben's kind of waiting for him on his walk home, and says, "Tough day at the office." And Peter's like, "Let them go, all of them." Chasm says, "I'd love to, Peter, but I didn't go to all the trouble of making Limbo look like your home to have you turn down my hospitality. Now what say you take a nibble, and we all call it a day," as he tries to hand him this evil apple, let's say, that was introduced in an earlier issue of the Dark Web. And basically, if Peter willingly takes a bite of this apple, he'll lose his soul to Chasm, apparently, or to something. I'm not sure. Um, and then we go to some demons who are sort of making themselves into bad. They've been told to make themselves into Spider-Man bad guys, so they're having fun making themselves into Spider-Man bad guys. And we see one of them, makes himself into a scorpion, and then we get introduced to all of them in this panel here, and they end up calling them the Insidious Six. So, really, it's guys, it's really silly. It's the first appearance of these characters and stuff, but it's super silly. So, I wouldn't don't freak out or anything. It's like in limbo, these demons they've kind of combined with magic stuff to get some extra powers, and so one's called Doctor Octoball, one's the Grave Goblin, then we have Triceratops, Lazaro, Kraken the Hunter, and Gorpion. And then one of them fashions himself as a superhero, and he wants to be Parker Man. We see him there. So he's like, I want to be Parker Man. Uh, but sadly, in Chasm, in walks Chasm, and he's like, that's not really part of the plan. I don't want anybody being bad guys. And they kind of chase that particular demon off. He runs off. And we see here Peter actually starts to formulate a plan with J. Jonah Jameson, but they don't let us in on it. He just says, tomorrow watch for my signal, and however they're doing it, we're going to catch a ride. And so then we kind of go back. We actually go back to this demon that had ran away, who wanted to be the superhero Parker Man. And he ends up running into the giant from Venom mini issues ago that's reviewed up on the channel. That Venom left a piece of himself, like a piece of his symbiote goo. If you guys remember reading that or anything, I definitely remembered it. And so that actually comes full circle as this guy in Limbo ends up deciding that he's gonna help the Parker Man, or the guy that the demon that wants to be a superhero. He's gonna help him be a hero, and he ends up dropping his suit into the very small bit of the Venom symbiote that he has, and it seems to bond with the suit with some magic that he uses, and then the suit bonds with Parker Man, right? And we see him laughing, and then we go back to J. Jonah Jameson in the Limbo version of the Daily Bugle with all the demons, right? And so he sets about this plan to trick the demons. So he he goes, I've got a hot lead on our story, red hot. Are we the type of crew that gets scooped on a red hot story? And they're all like, no, no, no. And he says, okay, this is deadly serious. Apparently, some demons have been allowed to go to the real New York City. And instead of dressing in a suit and tie every morning, they're out hunting humans, making them scream, making them cry. Word is that's all these humans do, scream and cry and bleed. Good thing that's not appealing to any of us. And they're all like, no, no, not us. Yeah, who would want to do that? And he says, now, I'm looking for a few brave reporters to shine a light on this injustice. Reporters who will sleuth an investigation, but never join in on these heinous actions, which we've all agreed would be no fun at all. And they all just are like, they look and they're like, I'm going, get out of my way, this story's mine. And the I keep forgetting his name. Robertson? Yeah, I think that's his name. Robbie Robertson. So Robbie Robertson says to Jonah, he's like, I can't believe that worked. Jonah says, I can. It wasn't hard at all to get inside their heads. And then he says, I bet, but what about Peter? And then from off screen, we see he was able to make it out, but don't worry, he sent for me. As we see Spider-Man arrive on scene, and then kind of is like, stay close, we can follow the demons. Jonah riled up all the way home, thinking that they'll go portaling through to try to get the story back to regular Earth, and we can follow them through to get to escape limbo, right? But then we see from behind the Insidious Six catches up to Peter Parker, and he ends up having to fight him. Yep, it's okay, not any damage. He ends up having to fight him, and basically at the very end of this, like I don't know if he's gonna be doing well. He's kind of on the ground, and we have Kraken the Hunters like swinging this giant his giant, it basically looks like a boat's anchor. So he's swinging his boat anchor at Spider-Man, but from behind we see a giant spider hand come grab it, and Peter says, "How does this keep getting weirder?" And then this last page here, I'm assuming, I don't know, first appearance or first cameo on last page, something. And again, I don't know if any of the, I wouldn't classify these characters as like huge, but if you like, weird spider character first appearances that are just cute or different, we have this guy. It's the demon that's got a little bit of Venom symbiote bonded to the outfit that he's wearing with some magic to make it all work. He says, they said they didn't need another Parker, that I had it backwards. So say hello to Rek-Rap, which, yeah, as you can see, is Parker backwards. And he's kind of quite big and buff looking. um, okay. So, okay. This is the best way to put this. There was a you know, at a certain point through this through Amazing Spider-Man 17, I was just like, where is this going? I don't know if this is what I signed up for. The Insidious Six stuff, and just just the weirdness of all these demons and stuff. I was like, what? It kind of almost felt to me for a little bit like the dark web was getting derailed with this weird side story of Peter, Robbie, and J. Jonah Jameson being stuck in an alternate version of the Daily Bugle with demons that work everywhere. And, this is all taking place in limbo. It was just like, I'm not sure if that's what I originally envisioned was going to be happening. And then towards the end, though, as Peter's starting to formulate this plan to escape, it's starting to seem to work. Um, and the fact that pages before, I think what really kind of started to hook me was the goofy rip rep rack. What is it? It's Parker backwards. So yeah, wreck rip. I don't know. He's drawn in such a way before he turns into that big giant guy. He's drawn in such a way he's just a little cute guy, and you're like, oh no, the other demons are being mean to this guy. Why? And I kind of was rooting for him, right? I was rooting for him, and so then when there was the few pages where he ends up meeting the Venom, the guy from the Venom issue, who kind of saved Venom, and Venom ended up leaving a part of his symbiote with him, just a little itty bitty bit, as kind of a thank you. I and that being an issue, I kind of liked too, the callback to that, and that character, and then that's the character that ends up helping this measly demon guy that was kind of getting his butt kicked by all the other demons, right? It kind of, yeah, they wrapped a lot together there that I was like, okay, wow, this is kind of weaved like a web, and I appreciated that, and so I'm I'm gonna give Amazing Spider-Man 17 a thumbs up. Be kind of based on the overall story that's been surrounding this. Even though this particular issue is definitely out of left field, and it almost feels like Ghostbusters levels of insanity with these demons, right? And so if you're into that, you'll definitely, if you know, if you like Spider-Man and Ghostbusters, which honestly I kind of do, which is another reason why this is still working for me. But yeah, it's definitely a crazy story right now, and we are nowhere near getting any answers about Mary Jane, guys. And I don't honestly think anymore we're gonna get those answers from Amazing Spider-Man. I think we might have to be picking up Mary Jane and Black Cat to finally get, because that book's been revealing or answering a lot more questions about Mary Jane, honestly, than this book has, which is fine with me. Now that they have some, a monthly title coming out for it, let's find out what's going on with that. But additionally, Amazing Spider-Man by Wells has just been fun, and I also really like the fact that we've had McGinnis for a hot minute do some of these different dark webs. McGinnis's art on this title is fantastic, guys, and it could almost get a thumbs up based on that alone. But then you have some of the other elements. Yep, like I said, I'm giving Amazing Spider-Man 17 a thumbs up. I had a lot of fun with it. Super awesome JR cover too. All right, guys, that's what I have. Remember, if you like this kind of content, watch this far into the video. Doesn't hurt to give a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. New people can see me. All right, we'll see you next time, and have a great day.